Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Wednesday, the 24th of May, 2017. We have a good week. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market futures form, as we like to look at it. We had the 13 sell signal back 6 days ago, led to a rollover, pretty sharp down day. 2 days later, we've now recovered that like it never happened once again. No continuation on any of these moves. Sitting right where we were 3 months ago. Literally been in, an 80-point range, and that's extreme on the ES since about the middle of February, and now we're going into the end of May. So really, really not exciting. But keep in mind the 13 sell signal is still in play until we either hit the red dash line below or get a new 9-bar count to the downside, neither of which has happened. So even if we head up, watch that risk line, that pink line. And remember, that's a 9-bar. That's not a new 9-bar count to the downside anyways. We're forming a 9-bar up count here. It's amazing. It was a really boring day. 7 points of range on the ES after a small gap up. Not much there. We'll take a look at all that when we get to the intraday action. Let's go through the majors. Crude oil back up to 51.47. It's up 35 cents. Gold down 11.90. S&P cash index up 4. Also watch the risk line there. A little bit different than on the ES. NDX, the Nasdaq 100 was up 3. Also recovered back that move down. SOX loses 4. Not a big deal. Biotech loses 4. Even less of a deal. VIX retreating again down to 1072. How boring the VIX has been. The market's been when the VIX is 12 and under. This is not where we like to see the VIX. It was good for a couple days. Trend closes at 1.03. That puts the 10-day right about the same number. Nasdaq volume 1.5 billion shares. Again, a little lighter than the day before. So far, the 2 days this week have been lighter than anything we've seen in a while. Advanced decline ratio on the Nasdaq plus 156. On the New York plus 568. Google gained $6.50. That's a new closing high for Google. Again, Google, as usual, carrying the market here. Apple down just 19 cents, but holding up. Amazon up 87 cents. Another new closing high. Another stock that carries the Nasdaq. Netflix up 79 cents. Tesla lost 6.5 though. Rollover in Tesla. 20-year bond ETF. TLT lost 83 cents. Dow Jones up 43. And let's keep this in mind. If we go to projection mode, this would have been a 13, but you got to be above the 8. So the next new closing high on the Dow, if we get there, is a 13 sell signal on the broad market. Remember, we got a 13 buy signal on the Dow 2 days before the election. Let's see that back there, how well that worked. Now, we did get a 13 sell signal in February that didn't amount to much. But if you add up the signals on this thing over the last year, I believe it's 3 out of 4 are correct. So let's see what happens if we get the 5th one. Goldman Sachs, which was on our short list, never triggered, gained $3.62. All right, so let's look at the 5-minute candles on the ES and look how boring. Small gap up, filled the gap exactly. We made some money this morning on the futures again. 2 days in a row, nice opening range plays. Good work so far on the futures this week, despite horrible action after that. Look at that. Even when it reached back up, that's only 7 points for the whole day. And the entire afternoon was stuck in a 4-point range. That's the entire back 5 hours, and that's basically not tradable. And the prior day was no better. Nasdaq side, about the same. As a matter of fact, Nasdaq would have closed negative, except for there was a movement right in the last 10 minutes in the stock market, and then you got 3 more candles here after hours. But even that, the range on the Nasdaq was worse than the day before. All right, so what do we have to look forward to? Well, I'd like to tell you this is all going to change. Wednesday may be the last opportunity for that. So on Wednesday, we have the NBA Mortgage Purchase Index at 7 a.m. We've got FHFA Housing Market Price Index. We've got existing home sales, and we've got the weekly crude oil numbers. You got Thursday, you're going to have the initial and continuing jobless claims and natty gas. There is some data on Friday, although none of it's too huge. But keep in mind, the big thing here is this coming weekend, Monday, the stock market's closed and banks are closed for Memorial Day. So it is the official start of summer. It means that typically on Friday, things are going to dry up. People will leave. I wouldn't expect Friday to be interesting if the rest of the week hasn't been. So let's hope we get something here Wednesday or Thursday. We'll have one more market preview for the week and all of our usual picks and everything else, and we'll be in the lab to help you out. Although, again, if action's not like this, we just don't overtrade the market. So we're only going to call things when we think it's worth it. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great Trading Wednesday.